Now it's recording.
Now it's recording.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Right. All right. Take two.
All right.
Yeah. Hey everybody, this is Terry with K9 Kommand, and today I am here with Gunner. So Gunner came in with a lot. So he came in need of aggression rehabilitation towards other canines. He has absolutely no manners. And not only is this my first time actually asking Gunner for work and working with the dog, but this is his first time ever being worked since he's been with his current one. Ultimately what we're dealing with here is his owner isn't experienced in handling a dog with his type of mentality, energy, and she's been seeking advice from just people kind of off the street in her life, and they weren't sure what to do either. So right now what Gunner's dealing with is he's recently been switched over to this metal choke collar here. Unfortunately his collar placement was way off, and it was causing him to get a lot of stress on his esophagus. He's blown some blood vessels in his eyes from pulling too hard on the choke collar, and just the owner not placing the collar properly and not knowing what to do. Okay. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to start addressing things.
Wow. He's like the dog whisperer.
Cool. So, yeah, just inappropriate tactics leading to some harm done to the esophagus on the dog. At this point, it's not a collapsed windpipe. It's nothing that's going to be long term, just as long as the inappropriacy doesn't continue, right? What we're using here is just a nylon slip collar. It's very similar in action to this collar. The difference is going to be that it's not going to be a chain. It's not going to get bound up on itself. So the effect is going to be very immediate and direct, whereas this is going to take some time. There's going to be some slack here. The dog's going to be able to work within that slack to be able to pull a little more and do what he wants to do instead of what we're asking him. Okay? So at this point I haven't trained Gunner for anything. I just threw him the hand signals and gave him some tone there to get his attention, and he's already in sits. So that's cool. That means that he is open and coachable and ready to work. Hop. Right here, bud. Sits. So it's just as easy as that. Once we start seeing that the dog is open and available and ready to take the coaching, then all we do is we just apply the hand signals and the verbal commands and then repetition, right? So one thing that a lot of trainers do nowadays that I spend some of my time fighting against is treat training. This used in a very specific way is okay, but there's a lot of room for error, there's a lot of room for mistake. It ends up being unhealthy for the dog, and it ends up creating a new issue with the dog, which is that the dog will not perform without you having a treat in your hand, right? So what we do is we focus on positive reinforcement with the dog directly, right? So what we do is, this is where it gets fun. So what we do is we teach tone over volume, right? So you saw the tone there, that pop, right? We drop the tone to get the dog's attention. The dog's going to relate that to a growl type noise, and the dog's going to respond accordingly out of nature, okay? Then, when it's time to be positive, what we're going to do is we're going to reverse that, right? And we're going to use what we call sunshine face, sunshine voice, right? So it's always fun to watch guys do this, especially big burly guys, because we all have it in us. It's reserved for children and dogs, and that's it, right? So when we ask him, here, sits, Gunner, up, sits,
Good boy, good sit. Good job, buddy. Good job.
Right? That sunshine face, sunshine voice. It's real cute. Okay? So, that would be the positive reinforcement that we would give the dog. Okay? Now, right now, Gunnar has a huge problem pulling. What I'm going to do here to demonstrate for y'all is I'm going to go ahead and break him of that issue right now. Okay? So I'm going to take him for a little stroll just up in this breezeway. And what we're going to do is we're going to start setting some boundaries and expectations with Gunnar so that he has a firm understanding of what it is that I'm looking for from him. Okay? And then from there we'll be able to build on that. Right? Leash behavior is one of the first things that we address. If you don't have leash behavior, then everything else is going to be really hard to build on. So this is a foundation technique. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take position. We're going to hold the leash approximately bicycle handlebar lengths apart, or you could refer to it as shoulder lengths apart, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to walk. Now, the reason I'm choked up the way I am on the leash, and we don't want to add constant tension here, so we want to have a little room to relax it so that when he's doing the right thing, he's going to get a relief of pressure, right? But if he makes the choice to try to pull ahead or slide back, he's going to create his own tension here, and he's going to give himself a correction. So at this point, I leave it completely up to the dog to do the right thing. Once he does the right thing, then I give him the verbal encouragement to let him know, yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Okay? Gunnar, here. Up. 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 Here. Up. 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 So this is Gunnar's choice at this point, right? You can see he's shaking his ears. He's becoming uncomfortable with the situation. That's fine. This is going to take just a couple of minutes. Because the collar placement is correct, the dog isn't being hurt. The dog is going to be made uncomfortable, but that's going to be completely up to him. And you see, he's starting to chill out a little bit. He's starting to put it back. Here.
Oh, good job. Good boy.
Up.
Good boy. Good here. Good boy, buddy.
That's amazing.
Here.
Good boy. Good here. Good job. Good boy. Good boy.
Here.
Good boy. Good boy. There you go. There's my good boy. Yes.
Here.
Good boy.
Up.
Good boy.
Sit.
Good boy.
Yay.
Good job. Good boy, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. Good job.
Here.
Good boy.
Up. Here.
Good boy. Good job. Right there. Good boy.
Sit.
Good boy.
That's a good foundation right there where we're starting off, right? Just a couple of seconds. Up. Sits.
Good boy. Good job. Good sits. Good sits.
Just a couple of seconds, we can go ahead and start to see the breakdown, where he's not pulling so much. He's starting to get the idea, if I pull, I'm going to be uncomfortable. I chill out, I'm going to get that release of pressure. I think I like the release of pressure a little more, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that, right? So that's about it with Gunnar. So this would encompass really a good start for his training at this point. So what we're going to be doing with him is we're going to cover the obedience behavior first. Then once we have a dog that's ready to take direction and understands what boundaries and expectations are, then we can address bigger issues like the aggression issues that he has. And then we can go ahead and rehabilitate the dog, get him home to his family, properly train the family on the day of pickup, and then everything's aces from there. But sits. And just so everybody knows too, this is good information for absolutely everybody to have. Proper collar placement when you're working the dog runs right behind the ears, down the jawline. A lot of people think that it's supposed to be here in the middle or down in here. This is where you get your dogs hurt. This puts pressure onto the throat and the esophagus, right? And that's where you get collapsed windpipes, esophageal damage after long time exposure. Up here, what it does is it transfers that pressure to behind the ears, down the jawline. It puts it all right in here, onto the jaw, in the back of the skull, right? The head. So the dog is not getting hurt here. The dog's really not getting hurt anywhere. The dog is getting a pressure that is uncomfortable and learning from that, right? So that's a big key. But yeah, that's it.